Hello, I'm Rebecca from Pocketful of Posies, and today I'm going to be answering SewLoud's Quarantine 20 questions. So, the first question is, what was your first costume? Bonus if you share an embarrassing photo. Well, the first costume I ever sewed for myself, the first people-sized costume I ever made, was in 2012. I decided for Halloween I wanted to be Idris from Doctor Who, the episode The Doctor's Wife. Is that the right one? No. What's the name of that episode? Anyway, I don't remember the name of the episode. Matt Smith is the doctor in it, but that's all I remember now. But anyway, so I decided I wanted to make that, and I didn't have a pattern. I had never sewn people clothes. I had sewn some Barbie clothes and a disastrous dress in home ec class in high school, but that was it. So 2012, I make this costume. I just kind of drafted it. The bodice, I drafted it from an old costume that my mom had made me that I took apart, and it was much smaller than I was, so I had to enlarge it and whatever. But anyway, it was fine. And embarrassing photo now. Next question. What is your favorite costume you've made, or what costume are you most proud of? Well, my favorite costume that I've made is probably also the one I'm most proud of. It is the most recent costume I have completed. It is my 18th century robe à l'anglaise, and I love it. And it's the first thing, one of the first things I've made that I thought just fitted me very well. I thought it looked good on me, and so yeah, that's my favorite as of now, and the one I'm most proud of. Pictures now. What costume do you dream of making? Ooh, well, I have always wanted to make a robe à la française, and so robe à la française? Anyway, I've always wanted to make one of those. I've always avoided making one because of the amount of fabric needed. Because I've always wanted to make it out of silk, which is expensive, and because I am quite large, I require a lot of fabric. I mean, if you're small, you require a lot of fabric for that gown, but it's on my list. And also, I want to make a really beautiful Victorian bustle gown at some point, so those are my two right now. What is a sewing task you love versus a sewing task you hate? Well, I absolutely, to the very core of my being, hate cutting out patterns. I feel like a lot of people hate cutting out patterns. Oh my goodness. Because especially, I try not to cut my patterns. I try to trace them. But if I'm making something like a one-off, I will cut the pattern if it's like one of the big pattern companies with the tissue patterns, because I feel like you can't use those again anyway. So might as well just look for a sale and buy a new pattern if you're going to make it again sometime. It's kind of wasteful. But with PDF patterns or paper patterns, yeah, I just usually trace them out, but then you have to cut them, you trace it, then cut it, and then cut it out of the fabric. Anyway, it's just a pain. But something that I love, I would say, I love the detail work, like the putting on trim. Once everything is together, you know, once you've got the main costume put together, adding the trim, adding the extra stuff, adding the pretty stuff, and the hand sewing that goes along with that, I enjoy that a lot. Would you rather sew wool or silk? Well, I've only ever sewn wool blend before. I've never sewn 100% wool, so I really have no answer to that. But my robe à l'anglaise was silk taffeta, and I loved it. The fabric is so lovely. The swish is gorgeous. The sound of the silk taffeta, ooh, I love it. So I'm gonna say silk. Would you rather go to a themed event or pick your own theme event? That's a good question. I enjoy like costume parties, Halloween parties, you know, where people are dressed in all kinds of different things. It's fun seeing all of the different parties, but I would say I like more like a party or an event where everyone is dressed in the same time period or that kind of thing. I like that a lot. Let's see, would I rather attend a big ball or an intimate dinner? Definitely an intimate dinner. I'm an introvert, and I have some claustrophobia, so large crowds I do not like. However, I probably would love to go to a ball where everyone is dressed in beautiful costumes, but I would be in the corner taking pictures probably rather than out mingling with people. Let's see. Do you prefer to machine sew or hand sew? I would say both, definitely. I do the majority of my sewing, excuse me. I do the majority of my sewing on the machine. You know, the long seams, skirt seams, gathering, stitches, all of that kind of stuff. Anything that doesn't need to be done delicately or needs to be hand sewn. But I love hand sewing as well. I find it very soothing, I guess, relaxing to hand sew. So both. Do you like wigs, hair pieces, or your own hair? All three, I guess. This is my own hair. It's just a very simple updo that I did very quickly. But for big, like the big 18th century hair, you know, having some extra stuff in there to pad it out, or just wigs, I like them all. They're all good. Anything that makes the costume look amazing, I'm all for. Name 5 small businesses I love for costume things. Okay, so 1, Redthreaded. I just bought some Regency Stays patterns that I'm looking forward to using. Black Snail patterns on Etsy. I may own all of her patterns at this point, but I really like that they go up into the larger sizes. Again, I am bigger than the largest size, but which is true with most patterns. So I usually have to do some fiddling around, but they do go up to the larger sizes. So Black Snail patterns on Etsy. Let's see. Laughing Moon Mercantile. I like their patterns. A lot of their patterns actually go bigger than my size, which I really appreciate. I like that a lot. Let's see. LitttleBits on Etsy. They sell a lot of like historical hair stuff, pomade and hair oils and beauty type things. I've bought some stuff from them. I like them a lot. And let's see, Last one. I also buy a lot of stuff from Patterns of Time on Etsy. They're a small business and they sell historical patterns from other pattern makers. But sometimes if I'm, looking for something I can't find, sometimes I find it from them. But yeah, so those are my 5. And let's see, what's the next question? Name 5 YouTubers we should all check out. Okay. Let's see. Noelle from Costuming Drama. Have to give her a shout out definitely, because she's actually the one who inspired me to start filming my stuff, my costumes. So I like her chatty vlogs. I like how down to earth she is. We're also close to the same age, so I appreciate that she's also a fellow Zennial, I guess. And let's see. And then Dames a la Mode. She has beautiful costumes. I love watching her videos. Lady Rebecca Fashions, also beautiful costumes. And she also sings, which I like. And let's see. I started recently watching a couple of fairly new, maybe as new as me, YouTubers, Costubers, Redhead Threads. She has a video up. Her most recent video is a really pretty Edwardian dress. And also, and so it begins, she's working on a whole Outlander ensemble. So check them out. Favorite color? That's a good question. Blue? I like a lot of colors, but I make a lot of things in blue. I find blue very soothing, I think. I also think I look well in blue. So, yeah, I'm going to go with blue. Pearls or sparkles? I'm going to have to go with both. I think they're both beautiful. Yeah, both. What is a costume trip you've dreamt of taking? I have always wanted to go to Venice for Carnival. I've also always wanted to go to Bath for the Jane Austen Festival. So definitely those two. And pretty much, I mean, shouldn't we all do more things, more places in costumes? I think so. Favorite cocktail? Okay, I don't drink a lot. Cuba Libre? Rum, Coke, and lime? We'll go with that one. Who is a costumer you'd love to meet? Oh, that's good. I would love to meet a lot of them. A lot of costumers. I think it would be fun to sit and have a cup of tea and chat with. But I would like to meet Rebecca of Lady Rebecca Fashions, because her costumes, her costumes are gorgeous, and she also sings, so I think we would have so much fun singing in costume. I mean, if you're ever in Louisiana, Lady Rebecca, hit me up. Plain or patterned? Okay, I would say patterned. I like patterns. I mean, I like it all. Everything's beautiful, but I guess patterned. Use a pattern or make your own. Definitely use a pattern. I have not, by any stretch of the imagination, mastered the art of draping or, drafting my own patterns. Math and I are not the best of friends. But I have not, I need a dress form in my size. and my mom helped me try to make a duct tape one at one point, and her name is Brunhilde, and she was a bit of a mess and a bit of a disaster, and she ended up being too big, so I really couldn't use her. But I have just recently purchased a pattern from, I can't remember the pattern company, but I will put it in the links, to print out, and you put in all your measurements and you get a pattern printed out in your measurements. So, and then you sew a dress form and stuff it, and then, so yeah, stay tuned for that, because I'm looking forward to it. I wonder what I'll call her. She can't be Brunhilde. Brunhilde's propped up in the corner because her legs keep falling off. I'll have to come up with a new name for her. What is your favorite era to wear? Favorite to make? Ooh, I would say, for comfort's sake, Regency. I can't think of much more comfortable than that, except for maybe like medieval, I don't know, loose fitting, but Regency for comfort. But I think for glory, I mean, I've made the most of late 18th century because I made a whole bunch of costumes for my sister's birthday party last year, or this past New Year's. So I've made the most late 18th century. So I'm gonna go with that because they are glorious and I love them. What is one thing we don't know about you? I don't know. What don't you know about me? I know some of you who watch this channel will know this, but maybe some of you who are new or who don't know me personally do not know this, so I will tell you this. I have a master's degree in vocal performance. Opera was my concentration, and you know, I teach voice and piano. I've actually had to turn my sewing room into also my music studio, so I can teach lessons virtually from home with all of this virus stuff going on. So yeah, I have a master's degree in vocal performance. So thank you so much for watching. I enjoyed these questions and I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, give it a like, a comment, or subscribe if you haven't. And I will see you next time. Bye.